Welcome to the Zebra Family channel. If you have not subscribed, please click the like button, share and subscribe. It's free.
Speak to her now. Good morning to you, Treasurer General of the EFF. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Let's get your overall view on the carrying out of the elections, first of all.
Thank you very much, Griselda, and greetings to the viewers. Look, right now the burning issue is the dashboard, which is down. And I think the media really, you need to help us to flaunt this thing, that we can't be experiencing the same thing again. In 2014 here in Gauteng, we experienced the same thing where the dashboard went down. And when it came back, the ANC was leading. Again, in 2019, we experienced the same thing. Now, we are experiencing the same thing. This is 3 times elections in a row. Really, this is unacceptable by the IEC. And we're saying to the IEC, help us to help you declare these elections to have been free and fair. There are many disputes that have been lodged throughout the country with evidence of tampering of the ballot boxes. There in Bushbuckridge, a presiding officer comes, or an area manager comes with the ballot box. As soon as he opens the door, ballot boxes fall. Ballot papers, they fall on the floor. That presiding officer was missing for a good 2 hours after collecting these ballot boxes. So what are you saying? And there's videos to that effect that shows. And then we say, okay, let's quarantine these boxes. They refuse. When we open the ballot box, they count 0 EFF in that. What is that? So we're appealing to IEC to say, tell the people that you've sent in the field to help us to declare these elections free and fair. With this kind of things, now the dashboard is down here in Gauteng. In Gauteng, we know that Ekurhuleni has not been counted. Majority of Ekurhuleni VDs have not been counted. Majority of Joburg, majority of Tshwane. Those are the 3 big metros in the province. There in eThekwini with over 800 VDs, only 300 and something have been counted. So,
will you be lodging objections? You have until about 5 o'clock. Will the EFF be lodging objections on some of these issues that you've raised?
We've been lodging objections. Every time we pick up an irregularity, we lodge an objection, to the extent that the IEC will even convene at the provincial level to discuss. That's what I'm saying to you. The decision of Bushbuckridge was to say, let's open this ballot box and count while we are dealing with the objection or the dispute. And when they counted, they found that in that ballot box, EFF was 0. The other ballot box, which was also tempered and opened clearly, then they agreed that let's share the votes amongst everybody. So every time we find any, not here, not at the IEC center, there on the ground, in the VDs, in the regional capturing centers, as soon as a irregularity happens, our people, our fighters on the ground, they lodge objections. But we've got the report that we've been sending to the head office.
Let's talk about the EFF's performance. Nationally, you have the new kid on the block, the MK party, surpassing the performance so far with, of course, 58.09%. Those are the numbers that are in at the moment. Are you disappointed?
No, we're not disappointed. I just said to you now, Griselda, majority of the metros are not in. I gave an example with eThekwini. Out of 865 VDs, only 308 when we were working here to where we were speaking was in. Ekurhuleni, the same thing. Tshwane, Joburg. There in Mpumalanga, it's Mbombela, it's Bushbuckridge, it's Emalahleni, it's Dr. J.S. Moroka, it's Tembisi Lehani. In Limpopo, Polokwane, majority of the VDs have not been counted. College Chabane, majority. So it cuts across all the VDs. But let's look at Northern Cape, how the EFF performed in Northern Cape. EFF has grown by 29%. There is 100%. It's completed. The voting is done. The counting is done. The loading is done. EFF is 29%. Has increased by 29%. That's a good over 10,000 votes. So we're quite happy. Here, nationally, we're still at 57%. If you look at the 58% now.
Are you hoping that the votes that will come in will change the fortunes of the EFF? Because certainly, should the board remain the way that it is now, that would certainly be somewhat of a regression for the EFF.
My darling, the vote that comes in first, you should know that, it's from the smaller VDs. So the bigger VDs have not been counted. And where are the bigger VDs found? In townships. So the black votes in majority have not been captured for. That's why you see the GA sitting there. It's going to drop because they've reached their ceiling. Look at Mpumalanga as an example. They are in Middleburg, they are in Bombela, in the majority, and then they are in Garvenbek. Those areas, they're almost done. But look at other sub-regions. Here, in Gauteng, Mid-Valley is done, that's where they are strong, and some small VDs across, but the majority of the bigger VDs are not yet in.
And you're pinning your hopes that that's going to change the fortunes of the
definitely.
EFF by the time the final results are announced.
It's science, my darling. Let's talk when the dashboard is now at 90%. That's when you'll see the magic. The votes of the EFF are still coming in the main. And if you open the system now and check where are these votes that she's talking about, you'll see that majority of the votes are still coming from rural VDs. Majority of the smaller VDs, they are white VDs, they are farm VDs, they are small, the numbers are in. If the EFF now at 58% is sitting at 780,000 already, you can imagine when now the bigger numbers are coming, where the EFF will be.
And just as a sidebar, you got a vote in Orania, didn't you?
We did, and I happy. And in fact, that's revolutionary comrade of Orania. But he must go and recruit more other people to vote for the EFF. White people must vote for the EFF because we need to live peacefully in this country, sharing the mineral resources of this country, sharing together the wealth of this country. And that's what we're saying. We don't hate white people. We just hate the fact that they don't want to share the minerals with us. And we are unapologetic about it. White people, you've been living here for a long time. You've been taking the wealth of this country by yourselves. It's time that we share this wealth together. Otherwise, it will never have peace. The levels of crime, high levels of inequality will never reduce for as long as the majority of our people still lives in absolute poverty. We can't continue to have that result.
The Treasurer General of the EFF.
I want to talk about EFF OMPHILE, but my feeling with the EFF is they are the winners. We can look at it like they have dropped some few percentages, but they are the winners because they are the most hated organization in South Africa, more especially by the ones who are holding the economy of the country. So the Oppenheimers and everybody, they are never happy about EFF. They support some organizations and try to sabotage EFF, but the new kid has come in the play now. That is got similar ideas with EFF. No matter they differ somewhere, their policies look similar. They might differ in few things, but when it comes to the African people, more especially the South African black people, and getting their land back, they're in the same ball. So we are happy to see Zuma back in that. They might call Zuma a corrupt and everything, whatever they call him, but the kid is back in the field, and now everything will shake. As long as there's Malema and MK in parliament, because EFF is there to stay. It's not going anywhere. No matter what people say about EFF, it's there to stay. Because one day, they will govern the country of South Africa. We can say a lot of things about EFF and say all this kind of things that we think they are this, their rhetoric and all this is not good. But to be honest, whatever they are saying, it makes sense to any human being. Black people have been suppressed for the longest time in South Africa, and they are the majority, but the minority are the one who have the land more, and they are holding the economy of the country. What sense does that make to any human being? What is democracy? That's why Zuma came back to politics, because of all this nonsense, because he has seen that everything is still going on and on. And ANC had a president. The president is supporting the wrong people. He's supporting the white people, which is the wrong thing. The country doesn't reflect the majority of the country. I don't know what you think, but I'm very, very happy about the speech from OMPHILE. He addressed, and she was confident in her speech when she addressed the journalist in the center, IEC Center, where they were coming to check the tallying of the ballots and everything, the results. But anyway, whatever she said, it really made sense. We can see them that they have gone down a little bit, but that doesn't make no difference, because they are still going to play a big part in the government. They are forced to be reckoned. I don't know what you think, my good people. Let's comment respectfully, and make sure we don't forget to subscribe. Bravo, bravo.